Captain Jackson Cole stood at the center of a sprawling underground war room, his gaze fixed on a massive holo map that pulsed with enemy coordinates and intercepted transmissions. Each light on the display represented a battalion of alien invaders, each flicker a beacon of humanity's desperate struggle to survive. His jaw was set in grim determination, and though his uniform was torn and his body scarred by countless battles, his eyes burned with an inner fire. The cost of their survival had been immeasurable, and now, with the mysterious creature looming over them and a cryptic message echoing in every mind beyond the stars, your reckoning awaits. The stakes had never been higher. In the far corner of the room, Dr. Ilara Cross worked feverishly at a terminal, her fingers dancing over keys as she deciphered layers of alien code. Her face, illuminated by the cold glow of data streams, betrayed a mixture of hope and torment. Once celebrated as one of Earth's brightest minds, she now bore the burden of secrets that threatened to shatter everything she'd fought for. Behind her, a faded mural of humanity's achievements served as a bittersweet reminder of what was at stake. Ilara's motivations were complex. She had always believed that knowledge could be the key to salvation, yet the revelations she uncovered hinted at a destiny far more ominous than simple conquest. Each breakthrough in alien technology not only armed the resistance with new weapons but also chipped away at the facade of trust that had held them together. As she worked, memories of her early days at the Research Institute flashed through her mind, a time when her passion for discovery was untainted by the horrors of war. Now, every line of code, every intercepted transmission, felt like a double-edged sword, a tool for liberation that might also unleash untold calamities if misused. Sergeant Maya Jensen moved through the corridors with a purposeful urgency, her boots echoing on the concrete floor as she gathered her team for another mission. Maya was the embodiment of human resilience, a natural leader whose unyielding spirit had kept her squad alive through the worst of times. Her background was a tapestry of loss and triumph. Once a promising strategist in the military academy, she had witnessed her family fall victim to the alien onslaught, an event that had galvanized her resolve to fight back. Now, with scars both visible and hidden, Maya bore the weight of every life lost under her command. As she briefed her squad in hushed tones, her eyes scanned each face, searching for the spark of determination that had carried them this far. They were a ragtag group of elite soldiers, many of whom had been civilians before the invasion, now united by the singular goal of reclaiming their world. Among them was Corporal Noah Harris, whose youthful eyes held both the terror of recent battles and the fierce hope of a new dawn. Noah had grown up on the fringes of society, always dreaming of heroism, and now he was living that nightmare, his hands trembling only slightly as he secured his weapon, a mixture of advanced human engineering and salvaged alien tech. His background was humble, his motivations pure, and despite the fear that gnawed at him daily, he had become a symbol of unwavering courage in the midst of chaos. Outside the fortified walls, the Resistance's diverse community of civilians had carved out sanctuaries amid the ruins. In one such safe haven, hidden within the remnants of what was once a bustling market district, Marisol Vega, an unassuming schoolteacher turned grassroots leader, rallied her neighbors. Their improvised defenses and makeshift barricades were a testament to the unbreakable spirit of everyday people thrust into the crucible of war. Marisol's gentle determination had transformed her from a figure of quiet instruction into an emblem of community resilience. Her life before the invasion was filled with simple joys and classroom laughter, a stark contrast to the present reality where every passing day was a struggle against encroaching doom. Yet her eyes sparkled with defiance as she organized supply runs, treated the wounded, and shared strategies gleaned from the broader resistance network. The civilians, united by the shared trauma of loss and the stubborn hope for a future free from tyranny, had become the backbone of the human effort, a reminder that the fight for survival was not fought solely on the battlefield, but in every home, every street, and every heart. As the battle intensified above ground, the human forces were forced to adapt rapidly to the overwhelming alien technology. Engineers and hackers worked around the clock in concealed workshops, reverse engineering captured devices to forge weapons capable of countering the invaders' advanced systems. The process was fraught with peril and setbacks. In one particularly harrowing instance, a team led by a young engineer named Ricardo Alvarez had discovered a flaw in the alien network's adaptive shielding, a vulnerability that could be exploited to create an electromagnetic pulse capable of crippling enemy machines. Ricardo's ingenuity was born of necessity. His background in robotics and a childhood spent tinkering in a cramped garage had prepared him for moments like these. Yet, every invention came at a steep cost. The Pulse, when tested, nearly destroyed an entire outpost before recalibration allowed for controlled application. Each time a new piece of technology was unveiled, there was a moment of both euphoria and dread, for every advantage gained also carried the risk of unintended consequences. The constant evolution of alien technology and the rapid development of countermeasures turned the battlefield into a living laboratory of war, a place where the boundaries of human ingenuity were pushed to their breaking point. The command center itself had become a nerve center of innovation and strategy. Hunched over consoles and holographic displays, teams of scientists, military tacticians, and civilian volunteers coordinated their efforts with a blend of desperation and determination. The encrypted transmissions intercepted from the alien fleet were being analyzed in real time, their hidden meanings slowly unraveling to reveal a grand, cosmic design that hinted at a deeper menace. The transmission spoke of interstellar alliances, ancient betrayals, and a dark purpose that extended far beyond Earth. These revelations fed the growing paranoia among the Resistance's leadership, as each decoded message raised more questions than answers. Were the invaders merely the foot soldiers of a greater force? Was the mysterious creature that had emerged from the command node only a harbinger of a calamity yet to come? The answers were shrouded in mystery, leaving the Resistance to question not only their enemies' motives, but also their own path forward. In the midst of this turmoil, the human spirit endured through countless acts of bravery and sacrifice. Captain Cole, once known simply as a battle-hardened soldier, now carried the mantle of a reluctant visionary. His background in tactical warfare had prepared him for the battlefield, but it was his unyielding belief in the potential of humanity that drove him to embrace unconventional strategies. Cole's leadership was defined by his willingness to take risks, a trait that had saved lives, but also put him in the crosshairs of both enemy fire and internal dissent. His decision to personally interface with the alien satellite weapon was born of a desperate need to reclaim control over a tool that could either be their salvation or their doom. The latent genetic signature that allowed him this unprecedented connection to alien technology was a mystery in itself, a gift, or perhaps a curse, that underscored the blurred lines between human and otherworldly power. As the Resistance mounted its counteroffensive, the battle line shifted repeatedly across a fractured landscape scarred by both nature and war. In one chaotic confrontation, elite squads led by Maya Jensen stormed a heavily fortified enemy outpost that had been converted into a forward command post by the invaders. The structure, a grotesque amalgam of organic curves and mechanical angles, pulsed with an eerie, bioluminescent light that belied its deadly purpose. The soldiers fought with a ferocity born of desperation, their every step a testament to the refusal to succumb to the alien onslaught. Explosions rocked the compound, and energy beams lanced through the smoky air as the Resistance unleashed a barrage of improvised weapons and repurposed alien devices. Amid the carnage, Corporal Noah Harris led a daring flanking maneuver that disrupted the enemy's coordinated defenses, his youthful valor propelling him into the heart of the enemy formation. Every encounter on the battlefield was a microcosm of the larger war, a clash of ingenuity against overwhelming power, of hope against despair. Yet as victories were hard won on the ground, tension simmered behind the scenes. The constant pressure of survival and the relentless pace of battle began to erode the fragile unity that had held the Resistance together. Rumors of internal dissent and whispers of betrayal crept through the ranks like a slow poison. Some questioned the wisdom of the risky strategies employed by the leadership, while others harbored secret ambitions for power. In the labyrinthine corridors of the underground command center, hushed conversations and furtive glances hinted at alliances formed in the shadows. There were those who believed that the key to victory lay not in fighting the invaders head-on but in exploiting the hidden vulnerabilities within the alien network, a notion that resonated with the pragmatists among them but clashed with the idealism of others. In these tense moments, the bonds of trust were tested as never before, and every decision carried the potential to unravel the delicate tapestry of the Resistance. In one such heated discussion, Captain Cole and Dr. Cross found themselves at odds over the interpretation of the latest intercepted data. Cole, ever the pragmatist, argued that their immediate focus should be on consolidating their defenses and launching targeted strikes against alien command nodes. Dr. Cross, however, was haunted by the implications of her research, which suggested that the invaders were merely pawns in a larger, cosmic game. "We're not just fighting for survival," she insisted, her voice trembling with both passion and fear. "We're fighting against an agenda that spans galaxies. If we don't understand the true nature of our enemy, we risk becoming nothing more than puppets in their grand design." Their debate, charged with both professional pride and personal anguish, underscored the fundamental schism in the Resistance's strategy. While Cole's battle-hardened approach emphasized immediate action, Cross's intellectual rigor demanded a deeper inquiry into the mysteries that shrouded the alien forces. The tension between them was palpable, a microcosm of the larger conflict that pitted raw courage against the weight of existential inquiry. Outside the walls of the command center, the civilian enclaves continued their own struggles. In the remnants of a shattered neighborhood, Marisol Vega organized a community council, gathering survivors in a makeshift auditorium constructed from salvaged materials. The atmosphere was heavy with grief and determination as Marisol recounted stories of lost neighbors, friends, and family members who had perished in the initial onslaught. Yet she also spoke of hope, of the unyielding spirit that had driven ordinary citizens to take up arms and stand against an enemy that sought to erase their humanity. "We may not have the weapons of war," she told the assembly, her voice resonant with conviction, "but we have something far more powerful: a belief in each other, and in our right to live free." Her words struck a chord with the gathered crowd, igniting a spark of defiance that spread through the enclave like wildfire. In that moment, the civilians became not just survivors but active participants in the larger conflict, a reminder that the fight for Earth was as much about preserving the human spirit as it was about repelling invaders. As the days turned into a relentless cycle of skirmishes, losses, and hard-won gains, the Resistance began to see glimmers of hope emerging from the chaos. The adaptation of alien technology was yielding unexpected dividends. Ricardo Alvarez's electromagnetic pulse, now refined and calibrated with the help of a joint team of engineers and hackers, was being deployed in key battles to disable clusters of enemy machines. Makeshift drones, cobbled together from remnants of both human and alien tech, patrolled the skies, gathering intelligence and providing real-time updates on enemy movements. Each incremental victory bolstered the morale of the fighters, even as the overarching threat loomed larger with every intercepted transmission and every new symbol discovered on enemy installations. Yet amid these small triumphs, the shadow of betrayal began to darken the Resistance's inner circle. In the late hours of one particularly grueling night, as the command center hummed with the activity of ongoing operations, an urgent message flashed across a secured terminal. The message, its source hidden behind layers of encryption, contained information that was both damning and inexplicable: a detailed account of planned sabotage within the ranks of the Resistance. The contents hinted that someone, high within the command structure, was in league with the alien forces, feeding them critical intelligence in exchange for power or survival. The revelation sent shockwaves through the leadership. Captain Cole's brow furrowed as he read the message, his mind racing with possibilities. Was it the result of an external hack, or had someone from within betrayed them? The thought was unbearable. Trust, already a fragile commodity in these desperate times, was threatened by the specter of internal treachery. In hushed meetings held in the shadowed corners of the war room, suspicions mounted and alliances shifted. The unity that had been their strength now teetered on the edge of disintegration, threatening to fracture the Resistance at its very core. Amid these escalating tensions, the next major offensive was set in motion. With the revised strategies in place, elite teams were dispatched to a heavily fortified enemy stronghold located at the outskirts of the devastated metropolis. Their objective was twofold: to secure a critical alien data hub that housed encrypted communications and to extract any intelligence that could shed light on the invaders' true nature. Captain Cole led the assault, his every step calculated and resolute. The urban battlefield was a labyrinth of ruined buildings and debris-strewn streets, where every shadow concealed potential danger. The air was thick with dust and the acrid tang of burning metal. As the Resistance fighters advanced, energy blasts and the hum of alien machinery filled the air, each encounter a brutal reminder of the enemy's relentless adaptability. In one narrow alley, Corporal Harris found himself separated from his unit. With his heart pounding and adrenaline surging through his veins, he pressed forward on his own, determined to reach a vantage point that could provide critical data on enemy movements. His solitary struggle was emblematic of the broader conflict, a young soldier forced to navigate a landscape where every step was fraught with peril, yet his spirit remained unbroken. Back at the command center, Dr. Cross monitored the progress of the assault with a mixture of anxiety and cautious optimism. The data hub they aimed to capture was rumored to contain not only logistical details of the alien fleet but also fragments of a much larger, hidden network. As the elite teams penetrated deeper into enemy territory, Cross and her technical experts worked to decrypt the incoming streams of data. Every byte of information they uncovered deepened the mystery, suggesting that the invaders' true power lay in a vast, interstellar communication network that coordinated their every move. The complexity of the alien language and the sheer scale of the network were staggering, and Cross couldn't shake the feeling that they were dealing with forces that had existed long before humanity ever dreamed of the stars. The pressure mounted as every new line of code revealed more questions than answers about the invaders, their origins, and the role that Earth had come to play in an ancient cosmic plan. Outside, the battle raged on in a symphony of violence and resilience. Sergeant Jensen's squad had successfully established a forward operating base near the enemy stronghold, a precarious outpost fortified with salvaged barriers and hastily constructed defenses. From this vantage, Jensen coordinated airstrikes using modified drones and directed ground troops with precision born of countless battles. Her leadership was both tactical and deeply personal. Every decision she made was influenced by the memories of comrades lost and the unyielding determination to honor their sacrifice. As she communicated with her unit over crackling radios, Jensen's voice was a steady beacon in the chaos, a reminder that even in the face of overwhelming adversity, humanity would not surrender its will to fight. In the midst of this orchestrated chaos, an unexpected glimmer of hope emerged. A specialized team, composed of a mix of soldiers and engineers, managed to capture a derelict alien craft. The ship, its surface marred by the scars of battle, was a repository of alien technology that had once been the spearhead of the invasion. Under Ricardo Alvarez's direction, this team began to dismantle and study the vessel, seeking clues that might provide a breakthrough in their counteroffensive. The craft's interior was a labyrinth of pulsating conduits and crystalline interfaces, a technological marvel that defied human understanding. As the engineers worked, they discovered a control module that could interface with both human and alien systems, a discovery that hinted at the possibility of turning the invaders' own technology against them. This revelation reinvigorated the spirits of the resistance fighters, providing a much-needed boost of morale in an otherwise grim landscape of loss and uncertainty. Yet as the human forces pressed forward, deep within the shadows of their struggle, the seeds of betrayal continued to take root. Rumors spread through whispered conversations and furtive glances among the high command. Some speculated that the saboteur was a minor officer driven to desperation by the collapse of his own ideals, while others feared that a far more sinister force was at work, an agent of the alien network planted to dismantle humanity from within. Captain Cole, burdened by the knowledge that trust was a luxury they could no longer afford, began to scrutinize every decision and every piece of intelligence with an intensity that bordered on paranoia. His once unshakable confidence was now marred by the nagging possibility that their greatest enemy might be lurking among them. The tension within the leadership grew palpable, each member of the command circle acutely aware that a single misstep could unravel the tenuous unity they had fought so hard to build. As dusk fell over the ravaged city, the elite teams converged on the enemy data hub. The ensuing battle was a frenetic ballet of stealth and ferocity. Under the cover of darkness, resistance fighters infiltrated the stronghold's perimeter, their movement synchronized with the hum of distant explosions and the rhythmic thump of heavy footsteps. Corporal Harris, having rejoined his unit after a harrowing solo maneuver, provided crucial cover as the team breached the outer defenses. Explosions lit up the night sky, and energy beams crisscrossed in violent arcs, casting eerie shadows on the shattered walls. Amid the chaos, Sergeant Jensen led a daring charge to secure the central chamber where the data hub resided. The room was a nexus of alien circuitry and pulsating energy, a technological heart from which the enemy's communication network emanated. As the resistance fighters battled their way inside, the aliens retaliated with a counterattack that pushed them to the brink of collapse. Inside the chamber, Dr. Cross and her technical team raced to interface with the alien systems. Their fingers flew across control panels as they attempted to breach the complex encryption that guarded the hub's secrets. The alien interface was like nothing they had ever encountered, a shifting tapestry of symbols and energy patterns that defied human logic. Every second was a battle against time as enemy reinforcements closed in on the chamber's entrance. The tension in the room was palpable, a crucible of fear and determination that bound every participant in a silent pact. Failure was not an option. As Dr. Cross's eyes widened in realization, she uncovered a startling pattern within the data, a series of coordinates that pointed not only to strategic enemy positions but also to a hidden facility deep within enemy territory. The implications were staggering. The aliens were orchestrating a larger campaign, one that extended far beyond the immediate battlefield. The revelation sent a shiver through the room, and for a fleeting moment, the assembled team understood that every victory they achieved was only a prelude to an even more daunting challenge. Outside, the tide of battle shifted again as the captured alien craft began to reveal its secrets. Ricardo Alvarez's team managed to integrate portions of the vessel's control module with the human-made systems, creating a hybrid interface that allowed for unprecedented control over alien technology. The experimental device was demonstrated in a sudden burst of energy, a controlled release that neutralized a squadron of enemy drones hovering near the forward base. Cheers and shouts of disbelief erupted among the soldiers, a brief but powerful reminder that innovation and courage could defy even the most advanced technology. Yet, as the fighters celebrated their small victory, a chilling unease crept in. Reports began to filter in from multiple fronts: unexplained power surges in enemy installations, erratic transmissions that disrupted established communication channels, and the unmistakable sense that the invaders were adapting in ways that no one had foreseen. The data hub, now partially under human control, emitted a series of signals that were both a taunt and a warning, a final declaration that the alien network was far more resilient and intelligent than anyone had dared imagine. In the days that followed, the human resistance regrouped and recalibrated its strategy. The command center became a whirlwind of activity as every available resource was marshaled to exploit the newly discovered vulnerabilities in the alien systems. Captain Cole convened a series of high-stakes meetings, his mind racing as he balanced the tactical demands of the battlefield with the growing threat of internal betrayal. The message from the enemy, a cryptic promise of reckoning from beyond the stars, hovered like a specter over every decision. Meanwhile, Dr. Cross's team worked around the clock to map the full extent of the alien communication network. Their research revealed that the invaders' true power lay not just in their physical might, but in a sophisticated system of interconnected intelligence that spanned vast distances across space. Every intercepted transmission, every decrypted message, hinted at an underlying order, a cosmic design that bound the alien forces together in a web of control that was nearly impossible to dismantle. The implications were terrifying. If the enemy's network remained intact, then every isolated victory would ultimately be undone by the inexorable force of a larger, coordinated assault. Amid these escalating challenges, personal struggles intensified within the ranks. Sergeant Maya Jensen found herself grappling with the dual burdens of leadership and loss. Late at night, in the quiet moments before dawn, she would wander the dimly lit corridors of the base, haunted by memories of fallen comrades and the weight of decisions made in the heat of battle. In private moments, she confided her doubts to a trusted lieutenant, revealing that even her steely resolve sometimes wavered under the strain of endless conflict. Corporal Noah Harris, too, wrestled with the psychological scars of war. The once bright optimism that had carried him into battle was now tempered by the grim realities of a world at war. Every time he closed his eyes, he could still see the faces of those he had lost, and the memory of that harrowing solo maneuver in the ruins became a constant reminder of the fine line between courage and recklessness. In the midst of all this, the civilian leaders like Marisol Vega strove to hold the community together. Their personal sacrifices, often overlooked amid the grand strategies of warfare, were the unsung heartbeat of the resistance. Marisol spent her days tending to the wounded and organizing shelters, all while quietly questioning whether the cost of survival was too high. Yet, in the faces of those she cared for, she found a reason to fight on, a reminder that even the smallest spark of hope could ignite the fires of change. As the resistance prepared for its next major offensive, the atmosphere was charged with both determination and an undercurrent of suspicion. Whispers of betrayal continued to circulate, and Captain Cole discreetly increased security measures around the most sensitive areas of the command center. Every new piece of intelligence was cross-checked and double-checked, and the fear that one among them might be a traitor gnawed at his conscience. He recalled a conversation with an old friend from his early days in the service, who had warned him that in times of desperation, even the noblest souls could be swayed by the lure of power. That warning now seemed to carry a grim prescience, as the possibility of internal treachery threatened to undermine everything they had built. The resistance was on the brink, not only facing an enemy of unimaginable power, but also the potential collapse of trust from within. In this crucible of conflict, every moment was a test of loyalty and resolve. The final preparations for the next phase of the offensive were marked by a palpable sense of urgency. The hybrid control module, now fully operational, was set to be integrated with the Resistance's communication network. This bold experiment was designed to turn the enemy's own technology against them, allowing human fighters to intercept and even manipulate alien signals in real time. Ricardo Alvarez and his team worked feverishly in a secured lab, their tools and screens buzzing with data as they fine-tuned the device. Their breakthrough promised to give the Resistance an edge, a way to disrupt the coordinated strikes of the alien fleet and sow confusion among the enemy ranks. But even as the device neared completion, a series of technical glitches and unexplained anomalies cast a shadow of doubt over its reliability. The engineers knew that one miscalculation could not only jeopardize the mission, but also provoke a full-scale retaliatory strike from an enemy that was anything but predictable. With the stage set and the plans laid out, the next assault began at the break of dawn. The elite teams, now augmented by the newly adapted alien technology, advanced under a sky tinged with the faint promise of light. The battlefield was a chaotic collage of shattered concrete, burning debris, and flickering energy fields. In the midst of this turmoil, Captain Cole led his unit through enemy-held territory, every step echoing with the memories of previous battles and the determination to forge a future free from tyranny. The Resistance fighters moved with a calculated ferocity, their weapons discharging bursts of plasma and salvaged energy blasts that illuminated the darkened streets. Explosions erupted in rapid succession as the alien machines attempted to reassert their dominance, but each assault was met with a counterstrike that exploited the vulnerabilities painstakingly uncovered by human ingenuity. At one critical juncture, as the Resistance pressed closer to the enemy's central communication hub, an unexpected ambush shattered the already tenuous rhythm of battle. A cadre of elite alien warriors, creatures that defied conventional description, their forms shifting and undulating with a life of their own, descended upon the human flank. In the ensuing melee, every second was a struggle for survival. Corporal Noah Harris found himself at the epicenter of the fray, his instincts honed by months of relentless conflict propelling him into the heart of the enemy's advance. The clash was brutal and unyielding, energy blades clashed with improvised human weapons, and the screams of fallen fighters mingled with the mechanical whir of alien machinery. Amid the chaos, Harris's unwavering determination shone through as he rallied his comrades, his voice cutting through the din of battle with a call to arms that resonated with raw, primal defiance. As the fighting raged, whispers of the hidden betrayal began to coalesce into a tangible threat. Subtle hints, a misdirected order here, an unexplained delay in communications there, suggested that someone on the inside was manipulating the flow of information. Captain Cole, already burdened by the enormity of the enemy's technological prowess, now found himself questioning the loyalty of those closest to him. In the midst of a desperate firefight, he locked eyes with a trusted lieutenant, a brief moment of uncertainty passing between them before the lieutenant's expression hardened into one of unwavering resolve. Yet the seed of suspicion had been sown, and in the back of Cole's mind, the specter of betrayal loomed larger with every passing moment. When the skirmish subsided and the alien warriors were driven back, the Resistance seized a fleeting opportunity to regroup. In the temporary quiet of a bombed-out alleyway, the weary fighters gathered, their faces etched with exhaustion and determination. Captain Cole convened a hastily arranged meeting, his voice low and measured as he recounted the day's events. The tactical success of the hybrid control module had been marred by the unexpected ambush and by the unsettling hints of internal sabotage. As he outlined the next steps, his gaze swept over the assembled officers and soldiers, searching for signs of disloyalty or hidden agendas. The room was heavy with unspoken questions, the air thick with both the residue of battle and the uncertainty of the future. Back at the command center, Dr. Ilara cross-pored over the decrypted data from the enemy hub, her mind racing with revelations and doubts. The intercepted coordinates and transmissions painted a picture of an enemy that was not only adapting to human countermeasures but was also actively exploiting the Resistance's vulnerabilities. The deeper she delved into the alien network, the more she began to see patterns that hinted at an intelligence operating on multiple levels, a force that was orchestrating events with a precision that defied human comprehension. In her solitude, Cross wrestled with the implications of her discoveries, torn between the duty to warn her comrades and the fear that revealing too much could tip the delicate balance of power. Her internal struggle was mirrored by the flickering lights of the console, each burst of data a reminder of the colossal stakes at hand. As dusk approached on the blood-soaked battlefield, the Resistance prepared for what might be their final stand. The hybrid control module, now integrated with human systems, pulsed with a quiet hum, a heartbeat that signified both hope and peril. The device was scheduled to be activated in a coordinated assault designed to sever the alien network's control and disable the enemy's most formidable weapons. Captain Cole, his face lined with exhaustion and resolve, addressed the gathered fighters one last time before the operation commenced. "We stand at the precipice," he declared, his voice resonating with the weight of history and the gravity of their struggle. "Tonight, we strike not just for survival, but for the future of every living soul on this planet. Trust in your training, trust in each other, and above all, trust that we will emerge from this darkness together." His words, delivered with unwavering conviction, served as both a rallying cry and a solemn reminder of the cost of failure.